Hello and welcome back to another episode of Content Cop, and today we're going to be talking about a man by the name of Ian Carter, otherwise known as iDubbbz. Now, iDubbbz needs no introduction. He is a king of content on YouTube. His videos have been held in such high regards to a status comparable of that of like JonTron and whatnot. The problem is that, like JonTron, his videos have kind of fallen off from the high standard they once were at in their golden years. Ian has went from making content that I feel could be enjoyed by anyone and has endless rewatchability to now being a C-tier content creator. So perhaps he's due for a content cop of his own. Before we delve into that though, I would like to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Yellow Optic. Yellow Optic is a new way to experience rich stories and detailed worlds. Constantly evolving characters and storylines combined with some of the best art in the world gives an experience like no other and puts you in the center of the plot itself. Best of all, it's all just getting started. Now is the perfect time to get into Optic as updates arrive weekly, so you'll never be out of material to get through this tough time. See what character you'll associate with and what adventures they'll embark upon. Begin your journey at yellowoptic.com. Now, on with the Content Cop. iDubbbz, as I have mentioned before, has had his content held in high regards for its excellent track record of stellar content, but I feel as of late he's really been slipping up in terms of making content. I personally believe that his last truly good video that wasn't a content cop is the Full Force video. Those who know it will likely agree, but if you aren't aware, Full Force is a video where iDubbbz interviews a YouTuber named Facade and spends a couple days with him to kind of learn what his life is like and why his relationship with his former friend Robert has turned sour. By far, it's one of the most interesting and entertaining videos iDubbbz has ever produced. It's a really engrossing experience, and then for the past 7 months, he's just made nothing but shit. Literally, the next video after Full Force was a Reddit video, a video where he reads posts on his subreddit. You know, that dime a dozen content that many other channels not only sometimes do, but even specialize in? Yeah, just do that and make that the video for the month. iDubbbz also had a little arc of making tier list videos, which kind of spun off into its own YouTube genre. I think besides Ian's awful opinions, the videos are perfectly fine, just nothing particularly amazing. Without a doubt, the worst content that iDubbbz has been churning out on a regular basis as of late are these videos where he looks into stuff that kind of trends online. He'll take something some people have discussed and try to critique or debunk it, or generally discuss it. The closest thing I can compare it to is a Some Ordinary Gamers video. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but the main issue that categorizes Some Ordinary Gamers as much better than Ian in terms of content is one word: execution. Mudahar of Some Ordinary Gamers makes videos dedicated to talking about the YouTube community and the shady characters it houses, malware and scams that are being spread through means of communication such as email, his opinions on new or trending video games, diving deep into the deep web, or just a topic that he feels that he has something to say about it. Mudahar creates videos at a rapid pace, now uploading multiple times a week with new original content of him discussing something you'll likely be interested in. If he posts a video that you're not compelled to watch, chances are that he'll make something that you are interested in the next couple days or so. These are all fields that iDubbbz severely lacks in. While both Ian and Mudahar create incredibly similar content, iDubbbz has chosen the lazy route and instead puts out his content in monthly intervals. This absolutely destroys the appeal of the content because there's little reason for this content to have such large gaps in between. These videos should at least be put out on a consistent basis. Not to mention that for a creator that has the legacy and prestige as iDubbbz, I expect this content to be at least a little bit of a higher caliber. Speaking of the consistency and quality, the topics iDubbbz takes on are some of the most stale, driest stuff possible. Not only does he choose topics that aren't trending, thus I have no idea what the topic is beforehand, meaning I have virtually no investment in the idea from the start, but often it's something that's too shallow to really be something people would like to rewatch over and over and over, or share to others. A video where Ian discusses dropshipping or runs calculations of the percentage of peanuts to mixed nuts is a concept that only works once, because attempting to rewatch these videos really leaves a lot to be desired. You already know Ian's reasonings, his conclusions, his results, so when the central focus of the video no longer has any impact, you're left with a vacuous experience that really gets boring incredibly quickly. It's like trying to reread a manual where you already know and understand the information inside. It's boring and you really gain nothing from it. I hypothesize that the reason why Ian prefers to make this content instead of the steady stream of bad unboxings, content cops, and legit food reviews that he used to produce is down to the desire to have a change of pace. He's been making content cops since 2015, and 5 years is a pretty long time to be making the mostly same type of content that he has been producing, so I totally believe that Ian wanted to branch out into different types and styles of content. Unfortunately, I don't believe his current content meets the high standards that the iDubbbz name has set for himself. I do believe we have neglected to mention another series that iDubbbz has been creating, and this allows me to transition into another point. iDubbbz Complaints is a series that Ian currently makes where he will take a topic that most people will encounter in their everyday lives and complain about its existence and why its inception is flawed or why he doesn't agree with it. It's a good series that has some rewatchability, but not nearly the same as his previous series. However, his most recent installment is an absolute disaster. First, a little quick background for the uninitiated. Recently, iDubbbz's girlfriend Anissa Jamha has opened up an OnlyFans account, which is a website where individuals over 18 can post lewd, suggestive, or nude photographs of themselves that people can pay a monthly subscription in order to view them. Some people have taken issue with this and have labeled Ian as a man with little dignity or pride, as he's perfectly fine with having people look at explicit photos of his significant other, so long as they have the cash for it. Admittedly, at first, I did think this was kinda dumb that Ian let this type of thing happen, but after listening to other people's opinions and kinda formulating my own, it doesn't really bother me. They're both happy, and I guess I couldn't really care less. That being said, I still don't agree with the lifestyle or type of relationship. For them to be both fine in the situation demonstrates a shamelessness and a lack of self-worth or secrecy on Anissa's part. Either that or she's blatantly exploiting Sims for their cold hard cash, which is a little dark, but hey, who am I to judge? Some took their feelings to the extreme, however, and began to lampoon iDubbbz for his feelings, which is uncalled for, of course. If you really pick this as a point for where you stop supporting iDubbbz and throw him under the bus, then that kind of demonstrates that you never really liked him as a creator to begin with, but just liked him for what he stood for and represented. Now the heat's turned up on iDubbbz, but really he has nothing to fear. All he had to do was handle the issue with tact and grace, and seeing how he not only was proficient in dishing out criticism, but also critiquing how others handled it, this should pose no problem for him, right? Well, I don't even need to follow up on that, you already know what happened. Rather than laughing it off and going with the meme like he advised Leafy to do, he instead buckled down and dedicated an entire video to addressing it. The entire video is him just trying to throw flimsy arguments as to why he's in the right in the decision, and why his fans getting mad at him or whatever was dumb. His first mistake was addressing it in a holier-than-thou mentality that really drives me up a wall. He acts like such a smug bitch, like, yes, I do have this opinion, I'm fine with my situation, I didn't expect people to get mad over it, what reason would you possibly have to get mad over this?
And I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know. I didn't think it would be a controversial opinion either.
It establishes that Ian thinks that he's above his fans for his opinions due to a narrow-minded ignorance about the topic. He sees it as a one-sided issue to where if you aren't okay with it, then you're being irrational, based purely on his own fallacy that there are no reasonable dissenting opinions. Newsflash, there is. But I'll touch on that on the next point. Another fatal flaw with his response is how his response is based on emotion and opinion rather than that of logic, like he normally has with his other videos. Mudahar has also brought this up in his video. Ian has turned himself from the cold, calculated character who knows what he's doing to being trigger-happy and reactionary, making his response feel like a desperate attempt to avoid backlash and save his career rather than proper logical response. Adding insult to injury is iDubbbz, for whatever reason, cherry-picks flimsy arguments to respond to. He chooses the arguments to respond to likely to appear again as if he's more intelligent than the dissenting opinion. For example, he cites this quote retweet made by a comedy account trying to make a light joke about the situation. Ian interprets this as him being serious though, and makes the assumption that the kid feels so strongly about this because people compared him to iDubbbz and that he really liked that. I mean, let's be real, if you're being compared to a YouTuber in terms of your physical appearance, that's more of an insult than anything.
Persona!
He quickly switches to responding to a video that quickly discusses the pros and cons of the situation. For some reason, he states that having an OnlyFans won't factor into how likely you are to get a future job. Mudahar explained this perfectly in his video.
Yeah, let me give you a real world experience real quick. It definitely affects jobs. I mean, try being a teacher, try being a politician, try being a lawyer, try working in a corporate scenario where they care more about their image than the actual worker. Yeah, it ain't gonna work that well.
By far the most puzzling thing is that he states this in his video.
You do realize there are guys out there in private right now jacking off to your girlfriend. But I guess it's out of sight, out of mind, it's not a problem.
Well, joke's on you, iDubbbz. I don't have a girlfriend. But in all seriousness, what does he mean by this? Is he trying to say that the viewer's hypothetical girlfriend also posts their nudes online? Is he trying to say that their hypothetical girlfriend's a victim of having candid photos taken of them? What is he trying to say, you know? I'd like to think that he's I'd like to think that this happens much less than Ian kind of is trying to assert. But I don't know. It kind of sounds like he's trying to make like a your mom-esque joke. Overall, this response is really bad. I give that a smug crying Wojak out of 5. Let me break down the dissenting opinion for you guys, since many people seem to completely miss where these guys are coming from. For a while, iDubbbz has presented himself as one who disregards the concept of being politically correct or advertiser-friendly in order to create an edgy, gritty, harsh style of comedy. Ian's style of comedy resonates well with those who align themselves with those who enjoy dark and edgy humor for the factor that it's unconventional and goes against the ideas and values held up and pushed by popular media. In the 60s and 70s, the counterculture of the time aligned themselves with the current typical democratic values. Now that that's the current popular culture and safe ideology to align yourself with, the current counterculture is now to be edgy. Those who enjoy this dark type of humor base their ethics, values, and morals on more traditionally conservative values, such as upholding traditional American values, religion, and things of that nature. Of course, these type of people don't support the type of behavior that iDubbbz has been exhibiting as of late. For some reason, nobody else is really thinking with their brain about it and just label those who dislike Ian's opinion and feelings on the matter as hypocrites and incels. The notion that they are hypocritical, I guess that's kind of fair, but Ethan from H3H3 went in the complete other extreme.
People were outraged, disappointed. I'm beyond myself. And to those people, whoever, if they are watching this, I want to.
They're unsubscribing right now.
I just want to speak directly to the camera, and I want you to hear this. You are the most unfuckable, repulsive creature. Sad. You're a simp, bro. You're a simpleton. You're a simple mind. You're concerned about other people's relationships instead of improving your own physical appearance and your own ability to attract women. Okay? Your judgment of what... You are a vile slime of a human that nobody will ever want you because you're so pathetic.
Maybe you should calm down.
No, I'm serious. I'm not calming down. It's the saddest shit I have ever fucking heard in my history on the internet today.
This clip displays Ethan's clear disassociation with real life and the feelings of the average human. Ethan is the textbook definition of the rags to riches guy who loses his ability to empathize and understand the people he used to be a part of. Rather than say, alright, I don't agree with what these people are doing, but I can see where they're coming from, he instead chooses to be an arrogant asshole and verbally shames those who disagree with Ian and are invested in this. He calls them vile and repulsive beings that will never find love because of them putting their opinions on Ian and being invested in someone else's life. And I find that dumbfounding that somehow Ethan comes off as an even worse asshole than Ian, and Ian is the one under fire! Evidently, the Ethan that was in his underwear dancing in front of a green screen isn't the same that is hosting the H3 podcast right now. He surrounds himself with these upperclassmen so much to the point where he feels like he's above everyone else for his opinions. Undoubtedly, that is the worst response of this whole debacle. Now, onto, hands down, the best response. The man, the myth, the used car salesman, Leafy. Leafy has made the perfect response for Ian and Ethan, and that's baffling. 4 years ago, everyone regarded Leafy as a snake who makes low-level content and held Ian and Ethan in higher regards for their videos critiquing Leafy and the videos that he made. But now the tables have turned. The Leafster has become the cold, calculated one and taken the advice delivered to him. The video, entitled iDubbbz, was a short video showing a clip of Ian stating that he was fine with men jerking off to pictures of his girlfriend, to which Leafy states, "Dude, you're a cuck."
For those of you who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, which is a website where you can upload amateur porn. Anything from double penetration all the way over to lewd cosplay and everything in between. And I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know.
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
Upon first glance, this seems like nothing, but when you really think about it, it's the perfect response. Ian made this long-winded, messy, emotional response that felt like it came from a place of desperation rather than true intelligence. Contrast this with Leafy's response, which was straight and to the point and had as few words as possible, but still delivered his point perfectly. With less and less words, that means that Leafy has less and less to screw up on his part, which means that he also has a lower chance of messing up the response. It's a no-brainer why his response was such a hit with everyone. The second video, and my personal favorite, is one entitled Content Cop, in which Leafy puts in a mocking parody of Smash Mouth's All-Star to mock iDubbbz and make fun of him. Not only this, but Leafy splices in images from Anissa's Twitter where he basically simps for Leafy and tries to get his attention on Twitter. Not gonna lie, some of them are a little off-color and creepy. Somehow it's even worse than that one time I tweeted at Akumi Nakamura. But we don't talk about that, alright? Feel free to pause the video at any time or just watch the original to see what I really mean. The parody song was the perfect option for Leafy to take, as again, Leafy is using the same tactics Ian used in his Content Cop series that have made him famous. He's giving Ian a taste of his own medicine, like what Ian did to Leafy 4 years ago. True poetic irony. This whole ordeal has damaged the facade iDubbbz has adopted. Ian's persona and his character of being more mysterious and careful with what he shows to the world has now broken and cannot be repaired. If Ian ever decides to make another Content Cop, Ian no longer represents an authority on the topic that he would discuss, but instead is on the same level as those he discusses. No longer does he make the god tier content that he once did, and no longer does he have the spotless track record that made him invincible. I recall an episode of the Baited podcast in which Keemstar reasoned that someone on the level of mystique and ambiguity as Ian should critique him.
I want to see a fucking... I'm sick of just seeing iDubbbz just like... whoever he calls out, it's an automatic win. The other person's fucked. I want to see iDubbbz actually fight for his career.
The only way he's going to fight for his career is if bigger people bite back at him and want to have a go at him. But even people with more subs are scared of Ian. And
that's what I'm saying.
Well, just because you want to see it doesn't mean it's going to fucking happen,
But that's exactly the problem. No one, at the time, was at the same level as Ian, so he went unmatched for years, but now that his facade is broken, now he's just like the rest of us. He's just a good YouTuber. Not bad, but just not great. He's fallen from the pedestal he once stood on. Ironically, he's on the same level as Leafy now. I still hold some respect for Ian. I still think that he still has the ability to create some really great content when he really tries, and no matter what, he's still the creator of one of my favorite YouTube series of all time, and those videos have inspired a style of video I hope to be making going forward. Speaking of which, I hope you guys like this new style of content that I'm kind of going for. Do tell me in the comments if you vibe with this or if you think it's kind of gay. Yeah. But before we end this video, I'd like to go back to something Ian said in his video.
That pretty much wraps up this video. I love my girlfriend, and I'm totally fine with dudes jacking off to pictures of her on the internet. Doesn't affect me one way or the other. If you are upset by me admitting this, then I suggest you go idolize